I guess that's part of the reason why people feel like we're living in times where the divorce rates, the marriage rates, all of those are going to decrease drastically over the next decade because people don't feel as though love is a real thing anymore. People don't feel as though that you can really go out here and connect and find somebody that you will be with long term with anymore. And there's some truth to that. But what has to occur, I feel like, is you have to decide indefinitely what it is that you want for your life. I was having a conversation recently on my channel where I was saying that once you decide what it is that you want, that's the way that you have to move. You got people that are living young, want to be free, and be like, all right, I'm gonna get all this out of my system, and then later on, I'm gonna go ahead and settle down. That sounds good and all, but really, you're setting yourself up for failure because what you're doing is that subconscious mind of yours is going to get accustomed to the way you have been moving. Me, myself, I had always had the intention of dating with the purpose of finding somebody that I could be serious with because I want a family. When I was a teenager, that was the mindset that I had. So that's the way I've always moved.
That's you special, bro. I mean, that's crazy hearing that from I don't hear that often from men. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, bro, like especially with men who have options and shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like you got raised right.
It wasn't even that because I was raised by a modern woman. Yeah. I told my viewers on my channel many a times before. I was like, my mom had a saying. She's like, I treat men like Marty. They get on, they get off next. That was her saying. My mom was like, if they don't got a ring on their finger, they free game. That was her saying. I wanted different for myself because I didn't have that.
You think that had influence on molding your perspective now, seeing how type of energy that shit brought, and you want different for yourself?
Well, certainly, 100%. 100%.
That makes sense.
100%. I wanted family. You know, I didn't have that dynamic. You know, the only relationship I had was with my mother. I'm just now developing relationships with other members of my family because I didn't have that growing up. I want that. I want that family. Even if I were to get in a serious committed relationship with a female and I want to marry her down the line, I can only hope and pray that she has a solid enough foundation with her family so that maybe they can accept me into their lives. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've always wanted. That's the attention that I've always moved with when it came to dating.
Yeah, it's got to be rough for you.
Most certainly, because I was also that guy that throughout my 20s, knowing the position that I was in, seeing my mom being a gold digger, and the role that men played in her life, and me feeling like, oh, I don't have enough to contribute to a woman, so I'm not going to date until I get in a position to where I can be a provider for myself and for a potential family. I didn't even bother dating in my 20s. I didn't even go out there. Because for me, it took until I was 30 to realize what single was. I thought if you were single, you wasn't dealing with nobody on any level. I ain't think folks was just out here just moving about how they were moving about. Because that's not the way that single looked for me. You know what I'm saying? Single for me, man, dog, you ain't talking to nobody. You trying to get your stuff in order so that you can find somebody.
You was living in a whole other world, bro. You might as well been in goddamn 1960, bro. That's crazy.
It felt like it. It felt like I was like, damn, I don't understand this. I was confused.
Oh, man. So I'm already tired as fuck already. The day ain't even started. The day has not even started yet. I've been up since really early this morning because there's a lot of work that I have to do. There's a lot of things that I need to get done today that I have not been able to do because I lost my voice for a few days. And I think that I lost my voice for a few days so that I could rest, y'all. And I needed to rest because a parent never sleeps, especially a single mom. A single mom never sleeps. So I'm back telling you guys about what's going on because damn, it be so much. It's just so much. So thank you guys for being here. Welcome and welcome back to Mom Jeans by Nutcase. I am Case Nicole, aka Nutcase. And today we're going to be talking about parenting. We're going to be talking about my reality of what parenting is and just how it affects my life, how it defines my life, and just some of the opinions that I have about it, period, especially from the standpoint of a single mom. So if you are enjoying being here or if you want to support the channel, support me and what I do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you guys. Hit the like button, turn on post notifications, do all the things. Because it's fucking hard out here, okay? It's hard out here for everybody, but especially it's hard out here for these single moms. So let's talk about it. Starting off this morning, I got up early as fuck. I took a shower, I washed my hair, I cleaned up a little. Not everything, but I cleaned up a little. And tried to kind of like meditate and get my mind right, because for the past few days I've been feeling really like groggy. It's really interesting because I feel like a majority of my life is defined by the fact that I'm a parent. I feel that a majority of my actions and things that I do is defined and initiated or influenced by the fact that I am a parent. I'm a single mom. I've been a single mom even throughout my marriage. And you know, it takes its toll on you. I just look around and I see, you know, through observation of different people and ethnicities and cultures, how being a parent kind of manifests in different ways. It's like, I can't explain it. It's really hard to explain what I'm feeling, but it's weird because there's like this idea of what a parent is. There's this, I don't want to call it a stigma, but you know, there's this portrayal of parenting and what it means to be a mom, what it means to be a dad, and all these other things that people kind of talk about or experience in life. But when you go through it, it's just chaos. Like it's not anything the way that I feel like a lot of people portray. One thing about being a parent is, for me, I've always wanted to be a mom. That's never changed because I loved my mom so much. God rest her soul. I loved my mom so much. And I saw my mom do so many things that I just felt like were not even impossible, but magical. Like, she made so many things happen for me in my life that I was amazed by her strength. I was amazed by her power. And I was just amazed by how, you know, tenacious she was. And it inspired me to like be able to be that for another human being. However, the way that things planned out, like the way that things transpired, was not anything like how I thought it was going to be. I feel like there are a lot of expectations that people have like in their life. And one of the expectations that I feel like is placed on people is to have children. Like at a very young age, especially as a girl, a young girl, I felt like it was my duty to have children. I felt like it was my duty and my responsibility to be married and to repopulate the earth. Not just because, you know, that's what people do, but it's like that's what I felt like I wanted to do. That's what I felt like I had to do. And like looking back on things, hindsight is really always 20/20 because I didn't have to do that. Like I didn't have to have kids. Now, there are times where things get really, really rough. However, for me, my kids have really shaped what my life is. And even though there's been a lot of hard times, I wouldn't take back my kids for the world. I would not trade what I have in my children, of how blessed I am to see them grow. I wouldn't change that for the world. However, there are certain aspects of the situation that I would change. One of those aspects would be the expectations that I put on myself and understanding that no one is perfect as a parent. No one is perfect as a human being. And there's things that I'm just not gonna know. And if I had that mentality in the beginning, I feel like I wouldn't have put so much pressure on myself. Also, the choice that I made of who I decided to create children with would have definitely changed. I'm not saying that I want them to be any different. I just wish that my choice to have children with who I had children with was different. I feel like I wish that I would have thought more about this individual's values. I wish I would have thought more about this individual's morals and look deeper into them as a person, their history. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like you really think you know somebody until you have children. Like that really, really changes the dynamic of relationships. And you could think that you know someone like the back of your hand, and then when it comes down to it, you really don't know them at all. So being a parent is not just about your kids. Being a parent is also about who you are on the inside and who that other person that you have a child with is on the inside, and how that reflects out into the world when another life is involved. There's something groundbreaking about having a child when it comes to your life. Everyone tries to portray certain images of effectiveness or readiness, but there's no handbook. Like there is no manual for being a parent. And that's one thing that I've still had to realize over all these years. My oldest son is almost 12 and I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, I really don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what the right thing to do is all of the time, and I'm lost a lot of the time as to what the right choice is to make. And I feel like there's so much pressure on parents, especially single moms, because you know, even a single parent as a whole, but I have to speak from a perspective that I'm aware of. So being a single mom, it's so glamorized, and it really irritates me because people glamorize parenting and single parenting in a way that I feel is super unhealthy, because it's nothing like how you see on TV, on movies, on social media. It's nothing like that shit. Like people think it's all about the outfits and the outings and things that you guys do together as a family, but when no one is around and it's just you and you have this mouth that you have to feed, shit gets real. Like shit gets real. It gets real and it gets rough and it gets dangerous because there's no safety net. There's no who can you fall back on. I mean, I can't speak for anyone else but myself, but me personally, I've not really had a lot of support when it comes to being a parent. I have family that is there for me for the most part, but there's some people who you see, whether it be in the media or in your community, that are going to make it seem like there's this big safety net of support, and that's not always the case. For me personally, losing my mom at the age of 13 caused a lot of problems within me that I wasn't ready to deal with. And I've said this before, but a lot of the reason why I had kids so young was because I was trying to fill a void. It was very selfish, and it was something that I wasn't even completely aware how selfish it was until time and years went on. So right now, as I look back on it, it's kind of like, damn, I feel such an obligation to my kids that I don't understand how people can just kind of abandon their responsibilities. However, at the same time, I can definitely see how they can abandon their responsibilities because this shit is so hard. I get tired of seeing people glamorize motherhood and single motherhood as if it's something that should be celebrated, when I really don't think it should. Like, it should be celebrated because obviously people have to do it, and a lot of people put aside their pride and their personal desires to make a sacrifice for their child, for their children. I mean, that's what I'm doing now, and I definitely feel like it's commendable, and it's something that weak people really can't do, you know? But at the same time, it's kind of like, damn, if I would have had a realistic perspective of what parenting and motherhood really is, then I probably wouldn't have made the decisions that I made. And it's kind of scary because there's so many young girls making the same decisions off of misinformation. So as a single mom, for a majority of my children's life, even though I was married to my older son's father, I was never married to my youngest son's father. But even early on in my pregnancy and, you know, throughout the infancy of my child, my first son, I really felt like everything was on me. I felt like I had to do it right because I didn't want to fuck him up. Like, I didn't want to fuck this little life up. I didn't want to make him, you know, messed up in the head. Like, I didn't want to skew his perspective of life. I wanted to try to build the best life for him. And I feel really thankful for those women out there who are able to be moms and be single moms without a lot of the stress that I feel like I endured as a mom. But the reality is that majority of single moms don't have that luxury. Like, I was married at a very young age. I had him at a very young age. I was a teen mom. Even though I was 18, I was still a teen mom. I was still a kid. And it's difficult to think about how much I had to go through. I thought getting married was gonna, you know, solidify my situation, like, in a positive way. But honestly, like, it ended up solidifying my situation very negatively because it kind of trapped me in a position where I was stuck. Like, I was really stuck there. I was stuck in this facade of what life was that I was just so unhappy with. And even the positive moments that I felt like I had and the positive memories that I shared with my son and his father were like overshadowed by negativity. And I feel like it was because we were so young and we were so misinformed. But I didn't realize the long nights and the early mornings and the lack of sleep and the expensive formula and childcare, all of these things that go into having a child. I never really took into consideration how serious it all was. What to do when there's no one around to help you. What to do when your child is crying and you don't know why. What to do when they have a fever. What to do when they are having stomach troubles or they're not eating or they're not sleeping because they cry all the time, or when you can't produce milk, or things like that I never really thought would be so stressful turned into like a nightmare. And that's really why it's very important as a young girl to make sure of who you pick. Make sure that you spend enough time really getting to know that person and understanding how they process information and how they handle situations, how they respond and react under pressure. 'Cause I feel like that's something I really didn't do. I really did not take into consideration how this other person was going to respond to and handle the pressures of being a parent. And I ended up finding out the hard way that a lot of the things that needed to be done, they just were not strong enough to do. And I feel like it's partially because I decided to have a child with a black man, and I feel like black men are very lost in this world. But I also feel like it was partially because I was lost as well, and I didn't know in the long run how much this life would affect my life and how much I would have to really change my life to be able to be there, you know, and show up in a way that was conducive to his overall health and well-being. You have to be really strong to be a single mom, and I really feel like there's such a glamorization of the entire process that young girls and young women are going into it very blind. I have 3 kids and they are thriving. Honestly, they are thriving. They have their ups and downs just like any other human being, but honestly, seeing the circumstances, they're thriving, and I'm proud of that because it's about what I put into them. At the end of the day, there's no manual or handbook for being a mom. And you know, if you think about it, I really don't think that anybody could write a handbook for being a mom. I really don't think that there's any way for someone to describe exactly how it feels and exactly how it is to be a parent or just to be a mom in this society, because there's so many dangers, there's so many traps that you could fall into just on your own. And then when you have that other life that you're trying so hard to protect, it's like, what do you really do? I mean, I don't know really what I want to gain from this video, but I feel like what I want to do, what my goal is for this particular video is, for those of you out there who are single moms, I feel like we need to try to encourage each other more. I feel like we need to be there for each other more. We need to ask each other how things are going and how we're doing. Like, how are you really feeling? Because that's one thing that I've noticed being a single mom is that, like, you're expected to be strong and you're expected to kind of know how to solve all these problems that there's really no instructions on how to solve. And whether you have a spouse or not, sometimes you can be a single mom even when you have someone there with you. And there's no answers as to how to kind of come out on top or how to get over certain situations that I feel like is a real stigma of living in America. It's kind of like you're thrown to the wolves in every situation. And I feel like, especially for Black women, we are forced to be strong in everything that we do. And that's not realistic. That's not a realistic outlook. And for me, this has been the hardest thing that I've had to do in my entire life, is raising these kids. And I really just feel like there's no support. I feel like there's no support for us. I feel like even though there is a lot of glamorization and fetishization, if that's the right word, of being a mom, especially being a single mom, there's really no support. And no matter how many programs or nonprofits or advocacy types of situations that you see, there's really not a whole lot of support. And when you don't have a lot, it's hard for you to do what you have to do. So it basically causes you to resort to less than satisfactory ways to solve problems that ultimately bleeds into the psyche of society. I don't know, I just feel like be mindful. Like, really be mindful. If you are with someone right now, or you're young and impressionable, whatever situation, walk of life, or standpoint that you are in right now, just be very mindful of having children. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm saying that there's a lot of emotions, there are a lot of feelings, there are a lot of situations and circumstances that go along with raising a child that you're not made aware of. And you have to be kind of ready to handle anything, but also ready to understand that there's no way to be ready. It's crazy, like, you know, they have books and things like that, but there's no book or video or commentary or TV show or informational brochure or pamphlet will be able to express the gravity of how difficult it is to be a parent, and furthermore how difficult it is to be a single parent. Nothing out here. No one is really speaking on it in a realistic manner. I mean, other than people on YouTube, you know, maybe like realistically, like, this shit is hard. This shit is hard. Like, I literally woke up so early this morning, got myself together, tried to wash my hair and clean up a little bit, and then just recently got the kids up a few minutes ago, and they're getting ready. Like, one just left for school. But it is so hard to continue waking up every single day and knowing that they're looking to you to be supportive of them when you really don't have anybody to look to for support of yourself. So I don't know, it's just hard as fuck. Like, at the end of the day, like, if you're a young girl, or if you're, you know, thinking about having a child, please take the time to really evaluate who you're with, having that child with, because that's major. That's a major aspect of difficult or easy it will be to raise that child. I mean, it's never going to be easy, but the person who you choose is really going to be indicative of your experience. That's what I'm trying to say. And just be very mindful of the people who you choose, the people who you're choosing right now. Be very mindful of the fact that you're never going to have the answers. There's no manual to this shit. There's no handbook to any of this. And at the end of the day, you can only do the best that you can. You can only be the best that you can. And when you feel like maybe you're not enough or you're not doing enough, remind yourself that all you can do is your best. And that is always enough. Because this shit is hard, bro. I guess that's all I had to say. I just felt like I wanted to express how difficult it is to be a single parent, especially when no one's there to help you. Like, it's just really tumultuous. And I just wanted there to be something real out there for people to understand about the whole situation, so that you can make an informed decision about what you really want to do, you know? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please be sure to leave me your comments and your feedback below. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how you feel about being a single parent and how it all plays out, like, in your life, in your mind. And if you're new here, or if you are an existing subscriber, thank you so much for your support. Be sure, if you're new, to hit the subscribe button. Everybody hit the like button and like the video. Turn on post notifications to all so you can be caught up every time I post. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.